On today's episode, we're diving in deep with a business legal expert to unlock the secrets to bulletproofing your business. Want to know the exact steps to protect your hard work from unforeseen troubles? Stay tuned as our guest reveals how to transform your business into a fortress that will stand strong against any storm.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Welcome to Freedom Blueprint Podcast. We are hanging out today with Scott Reib, and he has got some really, really cool stuff to tell us about. Scott, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Justin, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here to talk about asset protection and attorney stuff.
I like it. So Scott actually has got a book, which we're going to talk about a little bit. He's got a podcast called the Shatterproof Entrepreneur. He's a Ziegler business. He coach. I mean, the guy's done all kinds of stuff, and he's going to answer a lot of questions for us because from the home service space, a lot of times as we think about attorneys, it's almost like gosh, I hope I don't ever need one. But I think that really that probably should be part of the team. And I think Scott's going to help us clarify that a little bit on why we need a little bit better a better partnership with a lawyer. Is that right?
That's exactly right.
So before we dive in, can you tell us a little bit about the book? I know you've got a new book that just came out.
Yeah, the Shatterproof Entrepreneur launched about 2 weeks ago, and it takes you as a small business owner through the 6 phases of what I call a shatterproof business. And shatterproofing is basically taking your business and making it unbreakable, right? Too many of our businesses are built on sand, and the first storm that comes along is going to wash it away. And so I want my business owners to have businesses that when that storm comes, they're going to weather the storm and we're going to thrive through it.
So can you tell us from a high level perspective, what are the kind of the basic 6 steps to shatterproof it?
Yeah, from a high level, the phase 1 is the foundation, which includes the leadership part and a lot of legal protection. Phase 2 would be making sure that you have a brand that you can own and dominate. Brand protection is huge. Phase 3 would be have a marketing system. You have to have a marketing system if you want to dominate in business. And then phase 4 would be build a sales system. You want to have a sales system. Phase 5 would be build a recurring revenue system so that you can have predictable revenue in your business. I've done it both ways, and it's so much better knowing the first of the month how much is going to come in over the month if I don't sell any new things. And then last but not least is that you want to have a solid legacy. So we want to build an unbreakable business and a business legacy so that what we build can pass on. And so that involves estate planning, buy-sell agreements, and things that you do to make sure that your business that you built can outlive you.
Awesome. So that's good. And it sounds like you're going to get a little bit into some bigger things besides just the legal aspect. I mean, if you're talking about marketing systems and sales systems, which reoccurring revenue in our space would be things like memberships and maintenance agreements that you have.
Exactly.
Yeah, which are really important because it helps you put a fence kind of around your customer to make sure that they continue to do business with you and not price shop you and things like that. So on the marketing side, I'm interested when you talk about marketing protection. Can you give us a little bit of snippet into that? I mean, as far as are you going into the marketing side of it, or are you just talking about marketing for protection?
No, I'm going to the marketing side of it. I mean, I've been a business owner since 1997. I got out of law school in 96 and was an associate within the first 12 months, I became a partner, and I've been a partner of law firms or been the sole owner ever since in the last 27 years. So I've been a part of building a lot of businesses. Some of the firms have been great. They've been really good at marketing, and I have a marketing degree as well, and some have been poor at it. But I've learned a lot, and then I've learned a lot from my good friend Howard Partridge on, everything. Marketing is everything you do to bring customers into your business, and then sales is everything you do to convert them into customers. So the marketing is so important because that's where you dig in and figure out, who am I selling to? Because if you're selling to everyone, you're selling to no one. And so you have to define who is my target market is step one of a marketing system. Before you ever can create a message, you have to know, who am I talking to? What do they do? What do they act like? What do they look like? Where do they hang out? Who do they hang out with? So that then I can communicate to that person. And it's super important in home service businesses to know, the type of home that you're wanting to work with. Are you wanting to only work on mansions, or do you want to work on middle income houses? Because the message is different for those different demographics. So step one for a marketing system is identify that avatar or a target market that you're talking to.
I think so many people make the mistake of the shotgun approach of marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Man, like, hit them with a sniper rifle. It's cheaper, it's faster, it's easier. That's cool. That's great. So most of the people listening, Howard Partridge, as we were talking before we jumped on, Ellen Rohr, that's probably two mutual friends that we have that people listening, they would know them, which is always cool. So tell us a little bit about, all right, let me ask you this from a tradesman perspective. What is the difference between a lawyer and an attorney?
Yeah, there's no difference at all.
Okay.
It's they mean exactly the same thing. Different people call themselves different things. I'll go back and forth and say I'm a lawyer, I'm an attorney, depending on how it fits in the sentence. So we do exactly the same thing. And then you'll also hear counselor, because we also are counselors at law. So there's kind of those three different deals. And then I even add a fourth that I say I'm a legal coach, because I don't want to just give you the legal answers. I want to coach you through it so that you can ask better questions, make better decisions, and understand why we're doing it this way. And so that's another thing that we do.
Oh, man, I think that's a really good point. Like, legal coach, I think I would be more excited to talk to my legal coach than the attorney. So with the so with a legal coach, how do you help businesses protect themselves? Like, what are some different steps that you would walk them through on that?
Yeah, step one is you have to assemble a team of key advisors. Most important one, of course, is to have the attorney. Most important, not really, it's important, but you have to have this team. Attorneys on it. Then you need to have an accountant / CPA, because hey, let's face it, the way you keep score in business is money, whether you like it or not. And they're the ones that know how to manage the cash flow, set up a chart of accounts, make sure you're making a profit. And then if you're making a profit, let's make sure we pay as little tax as we possibly have to. And those are the people that do that. Then you need to have an insurance broker, because as you're going out into these houses, you're creating risk. And so you need to have someone that can cover your backside if you do get sued, that you know that it's not going to take all of your money that's in your business. So you have this insurance relationship that they understand exactly what you do and how you do it. And they recommend, here's all the coverages that you can have. And then you pick and choose the ones that make sense for you with your current budget. And they keep coming back to you with more ideas and saying, hey, don't forget about this. As you grow, you need this. You have to have that relationship. The next is you need to have a banker. The banker is not a bank. There's a bank on every corner anymore, with some kid that's never even shaved before at the desk. We need a banker that they know you. They know what you do. They've got your cell phone number. You have their cell phone number. You can text them. For instance, and this would never happen, that you needed to write a check today, and we're going to make a deposit tomorrow to get this big deal. It's never going to happen. Well, it's happened to me. And because I had a relationship with the banker, I could send them a picture of the check this is before you could deposit them with your phone, right? They have got a check in hand. If I need to write a check today to seal this deal, and they'll say, yes, bring us the check tomorrow, we're good. But if you don't have that, they can't do that for you. They can't set up a line of credit to help you All those things come from relationship. And you might have to actually go in and have a cup of coffee with the banker, take him a donut, and actually do something other than just, phone calls and texts or even Zoom calls. You got to do a little hand-to-hand combat. The next thing you need is you need to have a business coach. I'll say that again. You need to have a business coach. It's not impossible to build a business without one, but it's going to be the really slow road. If you really want to grow and scale a business, you need to have someone that knows the map, has the path for you, and can customize it to achieve your goals and dreams, and then hold you accountable to the action steps that you need to take. Sometimes you need a friendly coach. Sometimes you need a coach that's going to kick you in the rear end and make you do what you're supposed to do. But you need that coach. And I'm always working with someone. It's not always the same person. I might have a different type of goal for this season and need a specialist for that. But you should have someone that's helping you accomplish those things. Don't go it alone. That's a lonely, slow road. Find someone that will help you do that and have that coach. So if you set up those relationships, we've already lowered our risk because we have these key relationships in place. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure you have your Shatterproof legal structure, which means you're not running as a sole proprietor. I don't run into home service people too often that are still running as sole proprietors. Pretty much everyone has figured out that they need an LLC, even if they don't really understand why. They go get an LLC either online or someone helps them set it up. Very few actually go to a lawyer. But the reason you need the LLC is so there's a separation between you and your business. If you don't have one and you were to just do an assumed name, a DBA, if I were going out and it was Scott's HVAC company, then everything that I mess up as a business is my personal liability. And so they can come home and take all the things I've bought with the money I've made. If I have an LLC that does it, the LLC is a limited liability company. That limited liability means that the member or owner of this LLC does not have any liability or responsibility for the debts and obligations of the LLC. So they can't come home and take your stuff. So it's critical to have at least that one entity. Most business owners I know need to have multiple entities to do what they do, because once you start adding assets like trucks and vans and things, you want to have those in a separate company so that if your operating company creates a liability, they can't seize these assets, these tools that you're using in your business, because then you can open up a new business and use these same tools. So you need a little complexity in your life if you're going to have really good asset protection. But step one, make sure you're not a sole proprietor. You have an LLC or a corporation if that's what your tax person has advised you to do.
Well, and another thing to think about too is, for anybody listening out there, what Scott's talking about too, think about this. For every person that you add to your team, that's a multiplier. So it's one thing if you're just you still have that liability, but now you've got 2 trucks and now 3 and then 5. And so, yeah, I think that there's a lot of exposure, vulnerability that you can, not even knowing. I think that's what happens is, I don't think people intentionally go about going, man, I really hope I'm at risk. And, I do all this myself, but it's a major deal. I know I've had friends who have owned businesses and team members have wrecked trucks, and it has been not a good outcome for them because they didn't have any protection in place.
Yeah. I've got some clients that give me permission to tell this story. They were franchise owners, and the franchise that they had dealt a lot in cash. And so they had an employee that would go through their 7 franchises and pick up cash and go take it to the bank. This employee fell asleep while at the wheel, head-on collision, everyone died. They'd made a big mistake in that they had a corporation, so they had step 1, but all 7 of their franchises were owned by that corporation, and all the buildings that they owned that they were operating out of were in that corporation. And so they were stuck in a really tough economic time. They could not refinance any of their properties. They couldn't sell anything. They were stuck until they had to get that lawsuit settled. And they didn't, and they actually were underinsured because the $2 million of coverage wasn't quite enough. They had to pull cash out of a retirement plan to get that case settled so that they could then restructure their business. Because once you get sued, you can't change that stuff. It's stuck for a while until you can get that resolved. So the time to take care of that stuff is now. Right? The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is now. So if you're listening to us and you're hearing maybe I'm not set up quite right, then find someone to help you. Next week, let's get this stuff taken care of so that you can sleep at night and know that when something bad happens, because 120 million lawsuits are filed every year in the U.S. and 60% of those are business related, that you're going to be okay. You're going to survive that lawsuit because you're set up correctly.
Well, and for business owners too, you're operating a commercial vehicle, and I get the opportunity to travel a lot, so
Yep.
I get to see local channels in lots of areas. And you turn on the channel, and it is people talking about going after commercial vehicles. So for our team, for our plumbing and AC company, we tell them a lot, like, guys, you're a moving target, whether you like it or not. If you're sitting on your phone and you're texting, which obviously is a huge no-no, people are watching you. People will get in front of you and intentionally slam. Like there's just, you're a target. So to Scott's point, if you know that going into the game, just be protected. Like, be protected. So here's another question for you, Scott.
Okay.
How do you find the right well, I'm going to say attorney, but I think your point was really good. I think it was a great point on, your attorney, your CPA, your insurance agent, your banker, your business coach. I guess we'll stick to the attorney, but this is kind of goes to all of them. How do you pick the right one?
Yeah, and that's not easy. So that's a great question because it's not easy. You have to spend time with them. You need to go in prepared with a list of questions that you would want to ask them and make sure that they have understanding about what you do and how you do it. And you're looking for a lawyer that is probably a little bit entrepreneurial, for instance, so they understand taking risks. Because one complaint I get a lot as people come to me after being with other people is that they kill every deal I put in front of them. And there's a lot of lawyers that think that's their job. Well, that doesn't help you run a business. You need someone that's going to help you figure out a way to get the deal done. And I have to have this conversation with my team a lot of because they'll say, well, the answer is you can't do it that way. And I'm like, okay, our job now to find a way they can do it, right? Until we've exhausted all possibilities, we want to find a way they can do what they want to do and still be protected. And other lawyers aren't that way. They're going to write contracts that no one in their right mind would sign, which, they protect you. They protect you from doing business. So you got to find someone like that. And then I think this is the most important. You need to like them. It needs to be someone that you do not mind spending time with, because the more time you spend with them, the better they know what you're doing. Because our clients are all small business owners, and the businesses are generally not our client. It's the small business owner, and it's what are they doing in their life, where they're creating liability in their life that spills into everything. And then what new business idea do they have? Because you guys have business ideas every day. And so you want someone that's willing to chase down those rabbit trails with you and enjoy doing that. One of our core values is that we love solving problems. And so as you bring stuff to us, we're going to help you navigate those waters. Other lawyers just aren't that way. And the more, it's like when you go to the doctor. I switched insurance recently and had to go to a new doctor. I didn't tell them everything that was wrong with me. I don't know them well enough yet. But as I get to know them better, I'm much more open and transparent with my aches and pains. I'm 55. I've got a few. And then they can help me. But until I open up, they can't help me. And your lawyer can only be reactive if you're bringing them problems. If you tell them what you're doing, how you're feeling, what's going on with your business, what are the business cycles, what are the business problems, then you can put their legal mind and their training to work, solving your problems and smoothing out your road rather than getting you out of trouble. That's the analogy I always use is lawyers aren't emergency rooms. They should be primary care. That wasn't my experience before I created my subscription plan. My clients were treating me like an emergency room, making the same dumb mistakes over and over, and then calling me and spending way too much money to solve those problems.
Yeah, and at that point, what can you do besides throw money at the problem?
Yep.
And
even if we won, they'd be upset that it cost too much.
Right. Well, great. I won, Scott, but it cost me. You're like, I told you there's a better way to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So if someone is in the middle, and I'm going to bring this up just because I know a lot of people that are listening, are in the middle of, a lot of people are in the middle of selling their businesses or in the middle of buying businesses. Would you be able to help them with that process?
You bet. Yeah, we do that. We probably every month we have somebody that's either buying or selling a business. It's super important to have someone walk through the due diligence process with you, make sure you understand what you're buying, and then creating the right document package or reviewing the document package that's presented to you so you can understand the nuances with it and the risks that are involved in selling or buying the business that are just part of it. You can't eliminate all the risks, and you need to understand what it is you're promising, because they're part of those deals that we'll say the seller warrants that. But you're promising that something is a certain way, and you need to understand those terms, and you need a legal coach to walk you through that. And yeah, we love that. That's great when we can see our business owners getting a big payday for something that they worked so hard for.
I'm telling you, I'm always going to use the word legal coach now. I think that's fantastic. So good. So okay. So you're which area are you out of?
We're just north of Dallas. I'm in Denton, Texas. So I'm 30 miles north of Dallas, about 15 minutes from Ziegler's worldwide headquarters, and that's where we are.
Very cool. And then, but you guys can work all over the nation.
Yeah, we work with entrepreneurs all over the world, but we do everything from our home base here in Texas. We serve as general counsel for entrepreneurs and small business owners to help coach them and consult with them through all these problems that you and I have kind of talked about, and make sure they've got their businesses set up in a good system. And that's what we do at Reib Law. And then we have Shatterproof Solutions that does masterminds, and we have our own events.
So you mentioned a couple of times about a subscription. So can you tell us about what that is?
Yeah, the Access Plan. In 2012, I had a vision for a different way to provide legal services. That too many business owners were, like we talked about, making these decisions, signing contracts, doing deals without asking the questions before they did, and then it would go sideways, and they'd need me to bail them out. And I was getting too much repeat business that way, and I kind of had to do a deep dive and, like, why is that happening? Is it me? Do they not like me, and so they're not calling me? And I fortunately figured out it wasn't me. They liked me okay. It was that we were billing them by the hour, which really means every 6 minutes. So every time we touch them, think about them, money flies out of their pocket, and people catch on to that pretty quick. And so it's like touching a hot stove. You do that once and you don't do it again. So they stopped calling me because it was going to cost them money mentally. They would Google it, dial a friend, do anything but call me. And so the problem was the billing system. So I wanted to create a subscription model where you had a set monthly fee that was really affordable, that included a lot of the services that you need on a monthly basis, so that when you called and asked any stupid question you wanted to ask, and anyone that says there aren't stupid questions hasn't heard enough questions, because there definitely are a few. But you should be able to ask them and it not cost you money.
Right.
So they can ask me and I can say, yeah, that you don't need to worry about that, or that makes no sense whatsoever. But it doesn't cost them money, so they can keep asking the questions. And suddenly they become my friends, and we're spending time together because they aren't worried about money flying out of their pocket. They're more transparent. I can help them solve problems before they happen. And so we have this plan. There's 4 levels: launch, momentum, expansion, and guardian level. And so we have something to fit pretty much every business. For as little as $5,000 a year, you can get started and make sure you have a legal team and legal consultation at your fingertips.
Okay, cool. So how would someone, well, we'll probably tie into that here in a second, but so that's the first question I had. The second question is, where is the best place to get a copy of your book?
Well, right now the best place is go to Amazon. If you just type in my name or type in the Shatterproof Entrepreneur, it will be right there for you. We've got it at $9.99, which is about low as we can get it in their system. I want to get it in everyone's hands. I would love it if the listeners would get it, because I think it's such valuable information. And then, hey, tell us what you think about it on Amazon so we can get those reviews up.
Reviews are really important for Amazon. And so I will definitely be giving you a review today. So okay. So as we wrap this up, is there anything else you can think of that would be helpful for the business owners to know?
Yeah, we touched on the intellectual property side of this. And a lot of people in home services just don't think that's important. It doesn't seem important. We're a small local business, but having the rights to your name or your logo is so important. Every year we have several people come into us that they've gotten a letter. It's called a cease and desist letter that says you've got to rebrand in 30 days because we own the trademark to your business. And so you're 10 years into this business, you've climbed the ladder of success, and it's leaning on someone else's building. right? So what you want to do is now get someone to examine your branding and make sure that it's something you can dominate. If you can't file an application with the USDPO and get that registration, you need to rebrand to something that you can own and dominate, so that when you get to that end of the road and you're ready to sell the business, one of your major assets is we own our intellectual property, and you're never going to get this infringement letter in the mail. That's a huge asset. It makes your business much more valuable than it is today. And it gives you peace of mind that you're not going to get sued, because there's no defense to infringement. If you're using someone else's brand, you're going to be liable for it. It's just a matter of how much or how fast you have to rebrand.
God, that's good. I went through a process, it's probably been 15 years ago, and we actually went through that process to get our logo and name and all that kind of stuff done. And there's another company, two other companies that popped up with the same name. And man, that saved us a lot of headache, and it saved us a lot of money. Costed them a lot of money, but it saved us a lot of money. So yeah, that's a big, and especially in our space now, there's a lot of private equity, right? So there's a lot more
that's right.
businesses that are online that have these things in effect, and they have, I mean, some of them have their own law departments. I mean, some of them are very big. So awesome. So Scott, how would somebody get in touch with you to learn more? Because literally everything you've talked about, I know for me, it's resonated. I'm like, yep, I've been through that, or I probably need to put a check on that. And everything you've talked about, you're able to help with that journey with the owner. So how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, and we work with lots of HVAC owners. The best way would be to go to our website, reiblaw.com, REIBLAW.com, and then put a /freedom. And we'll have a special page just for the listeners today where they can download one of my ebooks. And there's a button on there where they can schedule a 20-minute laser legal coaching session with me, where they can tell me all about their business and the challenges, and I'll give them my unvarnished opinion on what I think about their situation and what they might need to change. And then you can use us to fix it, or you can use someone else, but I'll make sure that you know where you stand at the end of the call.
Scott, that's awesome. And I didn't even know he was going to do that. So that is fantastic. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. And honestly, Scott, that was a lot of really good information. Would it be okay if we had you come back on at another time?
Let's do it. I'd love it.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate it. And everybody check out the reidlaw.com /freedom and connect with Scott. Figure out if your business is shatterproof, or maybe if you need to do some work to get that thing back together. If you have found value in today's episode, make sure to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share with a fellow leader who could benefit from understanding how to legally shatterproof their business. Until next time, keep building your business foundation strong and watch your enterprise thrive. This is Justin Deese signing off from the Freedom Blueprint podcast. Stay motivated, stay protected, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.